A woman started dancing. There was no music, no celebration, no reason. She just danced. For hours, then days, then an entire week without stopping. Her feet swelled, turned purple, and bled through her shoes. But she couldn't stop. And then others joined. Within a month, 400 people were dancing in the streets of Strasbourg. Some of them died. This is not a legend. This is not a movie script. This is a real event recorded in city council minutes, physician reports, and church registries. And the scariest part? Science still can't fully explain it. It was the summer of 1,518 inches Strasbourg, a small city on the border of modern-day France and Germany inside the Holy Roman Empire. And this city was already living in hell. Years of famine had wiped out every grain reserve. People were starving. Smallpox had swept through the streets. Syphilis was spreading. In every neighborhood, someone was dying. The smell of the city, sweat, urine, and rotting flesh. Open sewers ran through the middle of the streets, and in the summer heat, the stench became so thick you could almost chew the air. These people had only one refuge: the church. The Catholic Church was the center of everything. Disease, God's wrath; famine, the price of sin. And the people of Strasbourg had one very specific belief: Saint Vitus. According to folklore, anyone who angered Saint Vitus would be cursed with uncontrollable dancing. Your body would stop being yours. Your legs would move on their own. You'd cry, you'd beg, but your body would not listen. A superstition, a fairy tale. That's what everyone thought until July 14th, 1518, a Wednesday. The street starts like any normal day. Shopkeepers open their stalls. Children play on the cobblestones. Until a woman steps into the middle of the street, Frau Troffea. We know almost nothing about her. Probably the wife of a laborer. Poor, exhausted, desperate, and without any warning, she begins to dance. No music, no celebration, just movement. Her neighbors watch, then they laugh, then they grow uneasy. 1 hour passes, 6 hours, night falls. Frau Troffea is still dancing. Her husband begs her to stop, grabs her arm. She pushes him away, but the dance won't stop. 3 days pass. Her feet are swollen, bright red, oozing fluid, but she doesn't stop. The authorities load her onto a cart and take her to a healing shrine outside the city. Everyone breathes a sigh of relief. But that same week, another person starts dancing, then another, then another. And nobody is laughing anymore. By the end of July, 34 people are dancing in the streets. Imagine looking out your window and seeing your neighbor spinning uncontrollably in the street. Fear on their face, eyes bloodshot, groans escaping their lips, and they can't stop. These people are not having fun. Some are crying, some are screaming for help. Some are begging, "Stop me," but their legs don't belong to them anymore. The city council holds an emergency meeting. Doctors deliver their diagnosis: hot blood disease. 16th century medicine, the theory of 4 humors. And the treatment? You'd think they'd try to stop them. No, the council decides these people will be healed by dancing more. The hot blood must burn itself out. The city's grain exchange is converted into a dance hall. Money is drawn from the treasury to hire professional musicians, drummers, flutists, violinists. Professional dancers are brought in so the sick can dance better. Picture this scene: a hall with its doors thrown open, suffocating air, fresh straw on the floor, soaked within hours by sweat, blood, and urine. The smell is unbearable. Musicians are playing, but there's fear on their faces too, because the people in front of them aren't dancing. They're thrashing. Some are shrieking. Some collapse, regain consciousness minutes later, and pick up right where they left off. The numbers keep climbing. End of July, 50. Early August, 100. Mid-August, over 200. At its peak, 400 people dancing simultaneously, and the deaths begin. Chroniclers record up to 15 people per day dying from heart attacks, strokes, or sheer exhaustion. People were dying, and the city's solution was to encourage the very thing killing them. They poured gasoline on a fire. Mid-August, night. Strasbourg cannot sleep. In the main square, hundreds of figures move in flickering torchlight. Their shadows on the walls enormous, twisted, barely human. feet hitting stone, no longer rhythmic, because some no longer have the strength for a proper step. They're staggering, stumbling, crawling, and still dancing. And every now and then a crack, bone breaking. Many suffered broken foot and leg bones, joints dislocated. People fell with shattered bones and tried to get back up. Your ankle is broken, the pain is unbearable. You collapse, but seconds later your body tries to straighten itself again. Your legs keep moving, and you are screaming. Finally, the council realizes its mistake. This is not treatment. This is mass execution. All music is banned. Dance halls are shut down. The authorities declare this is no longer medical, it is spiritual. Hundreds of dancers are loaded onto carts and taken to the chapel of Saint Vitus on Hohenstein Hill. Prayer ceremonies are held. Blessed crosses pressed to foreheads, holy water sprinkled, and one strange detail, the patients are given red shoes to wear. Why red? Nobody knows for certain. And then, slowly, quietly, the plague stops. By early September, the numbers decline. By mid-September, almost none are left. The squares fall silent, as if it never happened. Why did it stop? Did the prayers work? Or were their bodies simply too destroyed to continue? Nobody knows. And maybe the real question is, why did it start? 500 years later, there are three theories. First, ergotism, ergot fungus poisoning. Rye contaminated with Claviceps purpurea produces chemicals similar to LSD hallucinations, muscle spasms, uncontrollable movement. But ergotism doesn't produce coordinated dancing. It produces chaotic spasms. You can't stay upright for days with ergot poisoning. And everyone eating the same bread should have been affected. Most historians find this theory insufficient. Second, mass psychogenic illness. Historian John Waller argues that Strasbourg's people were far beyond the limits of human endurance, famine, plague, death, hopelessness, and on top of it, the belief in Saint Vitus's curse. Frau Troffea experiences a dissociative crisis under extreme stress. Her body escapes her control. Others witness it, and a template activates, the curse. Their belief is so powerful that their subconscious minds turn it into reality. Their bodies produce the symptoms they expect. Were they faking? Absolutely not. Mass psychogenic illness produces real physical symptoms, real pain, real spasms, real loss of control. These people danced not because they wanted to, but because they believed they had to, and their belief was so deep their bodies obeyed. Third, a pagan ritual gone wrong. But the records are clear, these people were suffering, begging, dying. No ritual continues until bones break. Most scientists accept the second theory, but even it doesn't explain everything. Why her? Why that day? Why did it stop in September? And this wasn't an isolated incident. 1374. The Rhine region, hundreds danced for months across Belgium, Holland, and Germany. 1962. Tanzania, 3 schoolgirls start laughing uncontrollably. Within days, 95 students are affected. It spreads to neighboring villages, over 1,000 people. 14 schools shut down. Not happy laughter, agonizing, mixed with crying and screaming. 2011. Leroy, New York, teenage girls develop unexplainable tics. Neurologists diagnose mass psychogenic illness. Same formula every time. Extreme stress, plus a closed community, plus a powerful belief system, equals the body's rebellion. In 1518, dancing. In 1962, laughter. In 2011, tics. The symptom changes, the mechanism doesn't. One final question. In 1518, the plague spread through narrow streets and market squares, a small world where people saw and influenced each other. In 2021, neurology clinics worldwide noticed sudden onset tic disorders exploding among young people. The common thread? Nearly all had been watching tic videos on TikTok. Neurologists called it social media-induced mass psychogenic illness. When Frau Troffea danced, a few dozen neighbors saw her. Today, billions can watch. Strasbourg's squares were small. Now we have a square open 24 hours a day, connecting billions of people your screen. The human mind can turn what it believes into reality. The question is, what do you believe?